So I was on the phone with a friend of mine earlier this week, and they were just like, kind of just saying like, how hard life can be, and like how like honestly life just like sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
And I was like, like I can't really disagree with you on that point. Like,
Sure.
honestly, sometimes it's really hard, and like obviously there's always people who have it harder, but like that doesn't negate the fact that like sometimes like life is just crappy. And so like of course that week I have the crappiest week ever. I'm like, my dog has diarrhea, my car breaks down, everything. Like I'm up all night, with my dog, and it was just like just a crazy week. And I'm like, the next day I'm like, my car's like almost like totaled basically. It's just like totally just not in good shape at all. And I'm like thinking about that conversation. I was like, yeah, sometimes life sucks, like wow, that couldn't be more true. And I'm like in that particular moment, I'm like, I don't even feel like trying to be like happy right now. This just sucks. And that period. But I do remember thinking like the one thing that makes me feel better in those situations where like everything seems like it's going wrong is that like God is vindictive. Like I never realized that till just recently, like how vindictive he is. But like, and I mean that by like when the enemy comes against us like really powerfully and really strong like that, or like, whenever the enemy attacks us, like if we can like keep like a pure heart before the Lord and like watch our words and all that, which I think even if we don't do that, God still vindicates us and stuff, but it's better if we do,
Sure.
that like God always has blessing, behind those really hard times. There's a lot of blessing hidden behind those because God like vindicates us, and like the way that God like takes out his revenge is he does it by blessing us. So like he takes out revenge on the enemy by blessing us. And so it was just really cool, and that's actually what happened. And like the next day I got a new job, and it was just really awesome, and a lot of good things happened afterwards. And sometimes it doesn't happen that fast.
Yeah.
Because like that's like super fast, but it was just a good example.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
That is really cool. I had kind of a similar experience. So like, I don't know about chemtrails, like, but I see lines in the sky all the time.
Yeah.
And it used to make me really mad because it felt like something was. I know it's like kind of conspiracy.
Yeah.
But like it was almost like if it's real, then it's like we're being kind of poisoned and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
It's like it's affecting everybody and it's the air. And it used to really bother me. And then it was today actually. I was walking my dog and I was just like, I wasn't gonna let it. I like didn't let it bother me because I'm like, God's gonna like God uses all things for my good. Like,
Yeah.
Like whatever the enemy means for harm, God uses this for my good. So I was like, I'm not gonna let it bother me anymore.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it really kind of upset me.
Yeah.
But no, it's true. Yeah, God is vindicating, and we've had discussions about that. Where like like someone who's lost a limb and like like how they're going to be compensated in heaven.
Yeah, totally.
Is like, it's like rejoice in your sufferings here.
Yeah.
And your misfortunes.
Absolutely.
Because God's that good.
Yeah, I saw a quote too that was like, I think it was by Corrie ten Boom, and it said, when a train goes through a tunnel, you don't throw away your ticket and jump off. You sit and you trust the engineer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you do when you go through like a hard time or whatever, like you don't just like throw your hands up in the air and be like, screw this, like screw God, any of that. Like, you trust him. Like, and sometimes it's not a bold faith, sometimes it's not like, you don't feel bold in that moment, but you just quietly trust him. Like,
Well, it's funny because sometimes things are unjust.
Yeah.
Not especially, like I can rest in this and God's going to vindicate me. and then sometimes like bad things happen because we have made bad decisions.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
just have to like accept it. You
Yeah.
know? So anyway, but
I've been thinking about that too, because I'm like, God, some of these like situations like are totally my fault. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just
Yeah.
like, I just totally got myself into this awful situation. Like with the car, like, you know, just like messing up my car, you know, like that was all me, you know?
yeah.
But even then, you know, God is like way more good to us than we deserve, you know? And
True.
it's like, even when we screw up, if we're just like, God, like, this was all me and I'm sorry, you know, like, he's just really good, you know? And
It's true.
even, you know, sometimes it's not the enemy, sometimes it's me, you know, screwing up myself.
True.
And even then, he's still so good, and he still works all things out for good, you know, not just what the enemy plans out, but what we screw up if we surrender to him, you know, he works even that out for good.
Totally. I've had things where I've like blown it, like I've squandered it once, I've
Yeah.
squandered it twice, or like God gave me another chance and I
Yeah.
blew it again. And I remember there was something recently, and
Yeah.
and I was like, Lord, I know I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
I know I don't deserve this. Like you've given me so many chances, and I keep blowing it.
Yeah.
And he did. He like it turned out to have a really good ending. It was with a client, but
Yeah.
anyway.
That's so funny.
God's so good
that's
like
cool.
that.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of funny. But it's not another thing I wanted to say too is like, how old is your friends like your age that you're
Yeah.
talking to? I remember being that age and like it hits you like a ton of bricks. You're like, oh, like
Yeah.
being an adult is hard.
Yeah.
It really is. And I get like flashes like that now, but not so much as like when I was your age, feeling that. Especially like when you're starting to like be on your own and stuff. It's a hard transition.
Yeah.
So, you know, just give
Yeah, it
yourself
is hard.
some grace with that too.
Yeah. It's a different journey for everyone too, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes your journey doesn't look like someone else's, and that's what's hard too. You know, and it's like that's like, you know, we're talking about comparison, it's like, that's hard because it's like, you're like, well, you know, why is their time frame so fast? You know, my
Sure.
time frame isn't as fast, you know?
Sure.
It's like, but it's just like, that comparing will just like, you know, really just rob you of your joy, you know?
Right.
Just like, you just got to sit still and be like, you know what? You know, with time, my answer is just gaining interest, you know? And like, that's like what Bill Johnson says. Like, the longer you have to wait, the more interest it's gaining,
Yeah.
you know?
That's cool.
And so it's just kind of a cool way to look at it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.